So Arc Raiders is one of the most exciting upcoming extraction shooters that we have. It's got style, mystery, and most of all, massive potential. But with the second tech test come and gone, no real solid idea of really what's to come next. That's another tech test, alpha, beta, release, whatever. I've got some serious hope and a few fears slash concerns that I just want to talk about here. So we're going to discuss that heading into the next whatever we get from Embark and Arc Raiders, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit. So starting off first here with our hopes, we have the gameplay foundation. Now for me, I think the gameplay foundation is very strong, especially for an extraction shooter. Pretty much based on everything that we've seen and things that we've played, core gameplay loop looks solid. Solo, duo, trio, squad based, co-op, PvE, PvE, PvP, PvE stuff. Lots of enemy variety, big enemies, small enemies, good extraction mechanics like in raid. I still find that's very interesting that when you're actually in the raid, all of the main extraction exits actually like close at certain periods of time, which like will begin to funnel people to certain parts of the map based on whatever's going on. You know, it just adds a lot more like tense moments to the game, which I think the core, again, that gameplay foundation really adds to. Like there's a lot of things that make the game like fun to play, but also like very tense, which I think you as a good balance to have for an extraction shooter. And then coming up next here is the aesthetic and the atmosphere. I think the style for Arc Raiders is super incredible, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big sci-fi person, and something about like sci-fi, but it's like kind of retro. I know like retro futuristic is like the like technical term for it, but again, something about like it's like future, but it's still analog. There's still dials and levers and switches. It's not all like Tony Stark, like hollow pads and holographs and like, don't get me wrong, that stuff's cool, but this like, it just gives it its own sort of unique flavor and spin, which you don't really see too often. Again, the kind of like closest I'd give it to it, and this is no dig at all, this is kind of just like a stylistic sort of similarity. Starfield was kind of going for that as well, and I forget what that like Naughty Dog game that's coming out is called, but it's like the new like single player game with the like bald head shorty was using the spaceship, and it's got like all the dials and like shit. It looks like it's straight from like the 80s, but like obviously they're in space. That like theme and presentation is so it's so nice, very nice. And like again, yes, I did compare it to a couple other like things in the space, but it definitely does have its own unique feel based off of like what the game has portrayed and what I've seen. And then moving on here to which I think is probably one of the most pivotal pieces of like the gameplay in itself. The fact that it's like, yeah, it's an extraction shooter, but it's kind of like a PvE first extraction shooter. And what I mean by that is like you go into the game, right? Obviously you go into the game, you have your quest or whatever you're doing. Really what it feels like you're there to do is fight the robots and do certain things. And then the PvP aspect of the game is just like a wild card component. Like, yeah, you could really go in and look for PvP if you want to, but really you're there to find materials and fight robots and loot the robots, which I think is actually pretty cool. I think if they could strike a good balance, again, coming from like a hunt showdown background where it is still really PvE focused, but it definitely has like a heavy PvP element because you're only really there to get really one thing, which is the bounty token, and then get out. But like for Arc Raiders, you're kind of just there to do whatever is like relevant to you specifically at the time. So your quest can be completely different to your squad mates, the 15 to 20 other people that's in the lobby. So yeah, you might go in there and see nobody at all, or just avoid people because you can and go fight other robots, or even you're fighting like a big boss like the queen or something, and the whole lobby is there fighting there with you, and like everybody's just like, hey, we got one thing in mind, and that's to get this shorty. After that we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but for right now, this is what we got going on, which I think is so cool for this game, bro. They definitely nailed that for sure. The pacing for that is really cool. And then again, that makes this even better as well. I mean, yes, I understand for like PvE focused only people, it might be a little annoying to have like PvP third parties, but it does make that gameplay loop even more tense, because you could go in there and be like, yo, my only goal is to like take down a bastion or something like that. That's all I'm doing. And then like midway through you fighting the bastion, you might be like either just about to kill that motherfucker, or like it's a tough fight, and then you know another squad or another person shows up and you're like, oh man, am I gonna have to like fight this person? Is this person gonna fight me? Like, wait, cause on the proc chat, bro, can you help me take it down, please? I'm just trying to do this. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Or they're like, no, fuck that, I'm killing you and I'm killing the Bastion. Bro, oh, too good. Way too good. But like I said, with all these great things, there's got to be some give and take, and there are a few concerns that I have for this game. First and foremost, long-term replayability. Listen, the core gameplay loop will definitely be fun for a few weeks, maybe a month or two, maybe 3, right? But my concern is like, what's going to keep people playing after that? What will the loop depth look like? What are the like tiers of crafting, and like I say, it's like base building, but more so like workshop building management going to look like? Are they going to have like recurring events, recurring storylines or themes, or like progressing storylines or themes that we can kind of tackle? Yeah, a lot of that stuff kind of worries me, bro, because like the game looks solid, but does it have legs to stand on? We don't really know. I mean, they've showed us a lot of stuff that we could mess around with, play around with, but you know how these gamers are, bro. They'll burn through shit fast. Even not even like the hardcore dedicated people who's gonna play like 40 hours a day. I mean, even somebody who will probably play 5 or 10 or 15 they're gonna get through pretty quickly, you know what I'm saying? So I hope they have some good stuff sort of in the pipeline ready to go, right? And just to kind of add a quick little positive caveat to that, based on how they've treated the finals, I'm not really super worried about like events per se, because they've had a lot of events sort of recur throughout like the season, which is like 3 months. They'll have like an event or 2 pop up each season. So I think they'll have something to kind of hold people over, hopefully. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe like I don't know how the like post launch is going to go, but that's just kind of what I'm theory crafting right now. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's definitely one of my main concerns right now. It's just what do the legs look like? Are we going to have something to stand on, or are we going to get 6 months into the game and people are going to be like, oh well, that's it, on to the next thing? Hope not, but just one of the worries that I have. Then another fear that I have, which I don't really see talked about too often for like a lot of games, but really is just a scope creep. Which, if you look at it, there's 5 aspects here that we kind of need to look at, right? PvE, PvP, narrative, lore, world building, gameplay, feature mechanics, base building, workshop, looting, like mechanics, right? This is a lot of stuff to kind of take into account. They fit pretty well together right now. They for at least like tech test 2 time, they fit together pretty well right now. And I'm sure they probably have like an internal discussion of like one of these that they really want to focus on, right? And obviously they can't do everything like to a T super well. One of these are gonna have to take a back seat or something. That's just how I feel. Like 1 or 2 of these take a back seat, or they try to do everything and then everything kind of sucks. That's kind of how I'm looking at this right now. From what it seems like PvE is going to be like the main baby, maybe followed up with either looting or like probably looting. That's probably what it's going to be. Probably like the looting, like crafting workbench style. That's what I think the like main 2 pillars for this game will be, and the others might take like a bit of a backseat. Just a guess on my part. But again, if they don't really have like a laser focus on like what they really want to work on for like not only development but like post launch, I think a lot of stuff could come out half-baked, not really good. Things could be forgettable, things could be just all around not great. And again, the ambition is great, I love it. A lot of the pieces fit together real well right now. They could tweak a few things and keep things really fresh, but I definitely want to kind of throw out that like that scope creep can be real. That scope creep can just be real. I mean, before you know it, they try to do everything and then a lot of stuff just don't work. And then the next point that I have here for like a fear is sort of just like monetization and like customization. Now this one is kind of like a half and half for me, right? Because in the tech tests we saw at least what I think is going to be like their monetization model, which is kind of that like that like Helldivers sort of like battle pass type of scenario where you have like 1 or 2 that you can kind of go through and then you'll like unlock certain things on a page, and then you go to the next page and do the thing all over again, right? Which I think is cool. I think that's fine, because I'm kind of taking this from like prior knowledge of Embark, right? With their free-to-play game, The finals, it's great. I spent a lot of money on that game. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I just like how a lot of the stuff look, and I like playing a game, so it's a win-win for me, right? Which kind of goes into my customization piece, because at least in the tech test, it was like mainly only outfits, no like super hard individual customization, which I really hope they don't do. I hope they take it like pretty much like the finals 2.0 and just have like a bunch of shit, and then you can customize each individual piece. It'd be a crazy step backwards if they were like did all the customization that they have in the finals, and then Arc Raiders is like, nah, we're gonna go with a different route. I think that would be so backwards. So please, Embark, do not do that. Is it gonna be like skin bundles? That's what I'm thinking, right? Like maybe a season comes out and it's like 3 to 6 months or whatever they kind of have their like model for, and then you can get like the battle pass or whatever that's associated with that. Obviously you're paying like I think like $40 or $50 up front, something like that, right? Which is like a good sort of in, and then you get that battle pass or whatever, which I'm pretty sure will probably cost like some money, I think, just to like get the whole thing. Maybe I could be wrong. This is just like speculation based off of what I saw in the tech test. And then I think I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a store with like cosmetics and stuff like that. Maybe like character cosmetics, definitely probably weapon cosmetics for sure too. And then who knows down the line, maybe like workshop cosmetics or something like that. I don't know, not too sure, right? From the first game, it's fair. A lot of it's fair, and that's all I kind of really wanted to be. Just be fair. I'm not trying to have like another like Halo Infinite scenario where it's like, bro, everything is in the shop. If you want to buy something that look cool, you got to pay for it. Like, you know, I just wanted to be fair. I want the prices to be all right. You know, I'm not trying to get gouged. There's already too much happening. There's already too much gouging happening in the gaming industry for consumers. I'm not trying to have this be another one. And then for my last fear, which you could really take this either way, but just because of what I'm seeing and kind of how I feel personally, I don't know if they're gonna like wait too long, right? And this can kind of be solved with a little bit more dialogue from the studio and the devs, right? But yeah, like just timing, bro. This tech test got a lot of people excited and got a lot of eyes on the game, right? And whether they decide to have another tech test or an early access beta or a release, whatever, right? I mean, the iron is pretty hot for them right now, regardless of what they do, right? Even if it's like, hey, we plan on having more tests, I feel like they should say that sooner rather than later so people can expect and know when they get their hands on the game, versus just like people having anticipation and then that anticipation sort of just waning off because they decided not to really do anything with it. And come on, we all know how the internet is. Like, at least when this video comes out, the like tech test 2 is going to be like a week old or 2 weeks old. You know, by that time, hey, whatever, the next thing that's in your like demographic as a gamer is probably already happening. Conferences are going to start happening again, showcases, new games are going to come out. The discussion and the eyeballs are going to go somewhere else. And the last thing I want them to do is kind of be in a situation where it's like the finals again, where it's like, hey, the game is kick ass. I know the finals was like a little lackluster on like content when it like first dropped, but like if you look at the sentiment for the finals right now, a lot of people are like, bro, this game is way too good to have this little people watching and or playing it. And I just really don't want that to happen again for a game that I'm not gonna say is substantially better than their first game, because they're kind of two different games, but it's like, bro, the hype for this game is real right now. So I think they should really try their best to capitalize on that as much as possible. Again, even if it's just like, hey, we're doing a Q&A, we're answering questions, this is the next sort of like idea or time you'll be able to get your hands on the game or see the game in action. Like, I'm not saying they gotta drop the game right now, right? Because if they want to cook, still need time to cook, sure, do that. But you gotta let people know kind of what's happening, even if it's just like, hey, this is like our window or something like that. I really don't want them to lose that like edge that they have for just like people being excited for the game, wanting to get into the game, because again, that pendulum can shift real fast to being like, yo, this game looks crazy, when is it coming out, to, oh, this game came out, I didn't even know, like real fast. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. So yeah, Arc Raiders is shaping up to be one of the most unique and probably popular extraction console shooters on the market. I want it to succeed. I want it to do really well. I'm like, again, I'm waiting to play. I cannot wait. The ingredients are there. Tech test was awesome. whatever the next steps are, I hope it comes soon, or we get to at least know about it. We've seen a lot of games sort of stumble along the way from alpha, beta to release, post-launch. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to take this time to talk about some of my hopes and fears, and maybe you have some of the same, or maybe you have some ones that are different from me that you would also want to share. If you do, be sure to drop them down below so we can have a conversation in the comments. Let's try to keep it civil. Please don't say anything dumb. I'm mag blasting all comments with no substance. If we're talking about dead game, DOA, woke, Concord Tube, all that shit, we're not doing that. Mac blast incoming. Listen, I love comments. I love interacting with y'all. This is like one of the main reasons I'm doing this YouTube shit anyway. So please, if you have any thoughts, any comments, positive or constructive, just have some substance down there. Be respectful. That's all I ask. Drop them down. I'll be reading them. I'll be commenting back and all that good stuff. But until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, day, whatever you got going on, and I'll catch y'all in the Rust Belt.